everyone, Karen here, and today I'm going to be making this popcorn bucket card. Now the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to use the stencil from Vintage Carnival from Crafter's Companion. And it's very simple to do, but we're going to just follow a couple steps. And we're going to go step by step as we go through this. So let me move this over here. And let's start with taking a piece of cardstock, and we're going to fold this in half. So I'm going to take this 8-inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to put a score line down the middle of 4. Alright, so I'm going to take the stencil that you would use to make the treat box, and I'm going to line it up on the fold here. And what I want to do is I want to trace across the top here. I am going to draw a line down this way, and I'm going to cut this out. So first I'm going to come across here, I'm going to line that up here and here, and bring this down. Then I'm going to cut this line here, from this point to here. Now that makes my card sit a little sideways, and I want my card to be flat on the bottom. So now I'm going to come across here, and I am going to cut my card straight. Let's see. So I'm going to measure across the top here and use that as a guide to be straight across the top, and I'm going to cut that little bit off. So if this is straight here, the bottom will now be straight, and my card will stand just fine. Alright, so now we have our basic shape. Alright, so I'm going to erase. I have a couple pencil lines here, so I'm going to erase these before I ink this. Alright, so now I want to get these lines on here. So there's 2 stencils in here. There is the stencil with popcorn, and there is the stencil that's plain. I'm going to use the plain stencil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up like this. Now I want to bring this down to where I do have, let's see, how do I want to do this? I want to bring this here. I'm going to bring it down to the bottom like this. I'm going to tape this down. I may need a new piece of tape here. I don't want this moving on me. All right. So I'm going to use this cherry red here from Gina K, but I'm not going to use a blending brush. I'm going to use this foam pad, because sometimes when you use brushes, the bristles get underneath your stencil, and I want a nice crisp line. So I'm going to load this up. I'm going to hold this down, and I am going to go up and down each stripe until I get it nice and red. Here's the first one, and we'll go to the middle one, and now the last one. More over here. Okay, and lift that up. There we go. So now we have the stripes in our bucket. So the next thing I want to do is put this curved part up here. So there is a die for that in this set. Now I have to decide where I want to put this die. And I am thinking I want to put it right about here. So let me grab a piece of tape, tape this down. use 2 pieces of tape just to make sure. And I'm going to run this through my machine. Alright, well I ended up only having to run it through one time. And it cut. And let me peel this off. And it did cut through. I'll just have to take my little snips and snip that little part off there. There we go. So now we have the front here. Let me put this away. All right, I'm putting my tray in here. So now I have a bunch of ovals because I wanted to make an oval on the front that would layer like this, that I could then put happy birthday on the front. So this one here is this die here, and this is 3 3/4 of an inch across. And this is more of a rounder oval. It's not a squatty oval. It's rather round, but that was a good shape to put on the front here. And once again, that was 3 3/4 inches across at the widest point. I then went down a size in the nesting die set that I had, and I went to this one, and this one is 2 1/2 inches across. And I thought that was a good distance here to put here. I then went in my stash and found a happy birthday that cut the words out in 2 separate words that weren't attached. So I have that, and that fits here. So this is going to get glued to the top here for the front of the card. Just like that. So let me go ahead and glue those on. And then we will talk about the popcorn. So once again, this was 2 1/2. And I'm gluing that to a 3 3/4. Oh. And I did go around the white with the same cherry red. Alright, so that's now. So when I went around with the red, I just went around the outside and I left the white in the middle. Alright, so that will now go here on the front. And I'm just going to glue this on flat, because if it was a printed popcorn box, it wouldn't have any height to it, so I'm not going to put any foam on here. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it here of where I want to put this, and I think about here. Alright, so now I'm going to put the happy and the birthday on here. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back here. A couple spots, spread it around. Spread out that glue. Alright, so if I want happy here, I'm going to put birthday down here. And now let's put some glue on the back of the happy. And I like this happy birthday because the little dot in the eye was attached. Alright, so we'll put this down. Alright, now let's talk about how I did the popcorn. So I have another oval, and this one is scalloped. Now this one is 3 5/8 across. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a light yellow marker. This one is Y11. And I am going to go across the scallops in the top, just part way, kind of along the top here. And then I'm just going to draw some little swishes in the rest of it. Sometimes I'll have 3, sometimes 2, just some little round swishes, just to make it look like the popcorn. And just keep going. Now I am going to cut this in half, so you only have to do this on the top half. But it goes quickly. You just need little marks, little swishes. That's probably far enough. All right, and once again, this one was 3 5/8. And that's just going to fit across here like this. So you really could maybe go, you could go 3 1/2. That would also work. You just want something that's going to fit from here to here. All right, so let me bring in my trimmer. All right, so I'm going to cut this in half. So I'm going to line this up from here to here. So I'm going to cut it at the dip part, not at the scalloped part, but at the pointy low point. Cut that in half. That will leave me this piece here, which now I can now glue here. Now I'm going to put the glue on the inside of the card, simply because with the scalloped edge here, I don't want glue in these spots in between here. So this will, oh, let me erase that. There we go. Now I'm just going to lay this right in here. Like that. So now I have a popcorn front. Alright, now the only part that might be tricky is the inside. Now I hope your day just pops to put on the inside. Now, I cut this out with my sample when I was trying to figure out, and I think I liked this size here for the inside. So what I'm going to do is I am going to measure up from the bottom here 4 1/2 inches, which is right here. And I put a little mark here. So now I can look at my printout here. I hope your day just pops. And I can figure out where exactly I want to put this. And I'm thinking right about here would do it. So I am going to take a pencil and I am going to draw a line down here, across the bottom, and up the top. And I'm going to put a little mark here at 4 1/2, and I'm going to cut this out. So I'm going to run this down to the bottom, because this is going to be a straight line with the edge. So I'm going to start here and cut that off. And then I will cut this to 4 1/2. So now I only have to worry about my sides. But since I have a mark from the top to the bottom of the page, I now can use that as my guide. I can cut that side off. I can cut this side off. And now I have the shape. So I'm going to erase my little pencil line here. Alright, so now I have this piece of blue, which is the same color that's on the front of the card. And I am going to glue this now. I'm going to line it up with this side here, because the rest of it I can trim. And I'm just going to give it a very small border, like that. All right. Now I'm going to bring my trimmer back in. Now I'm going to come across the bottom. Actually, let's see. Let me cut some of this off. Don't need to put all this in here. Alright, so I'm going to, let's see, I think I'll do the bottom first. Cut that off like that. And we'll cut the top. I want to look at the bottom here and make sure this is straight. So you know what? I'm going to bring it down here. Then I can always trim a little more off. Because now I have a nice straight line I can use as a gauge. There we go. Now all I have left is this side. So I'm going to put that here. Kind of eyeball it. I'm going to bring this down, kind of take a look at it. Can go a little closer. And come down. Alright, so now I have it trimmed. Now if you don't like the way that's trimmed, that's a little crooked on top, I can now even that off a little bit. Let's see. Now that looks pretty good. Alright, so now I have the shape that will go inside the card. Now we will glue this down. And there we go. I will rub this off. Here we go. So happy birthday. I hope your birthday just pops. So there's another way to use this treat box, and you could actually put a treat box with it, and that would be kind of cute. So now let's talk about the envelope. So this card ended up being seven by, let's call it 3 3/4. So we have to make an envelope that is 7 by 3 3/4. Alright, so now we're ready to make the envelope. Now when you have an odd shaped card like this, it's very easy to make the envelope. So I'm just going to sketch this here. So we're going to say 7 by 4, because it is 7 by 3 3/4. I'm going to round it up to 4. So we have our length of our card is 7, and I want to add 1 inch to that. So I'm going to need a paper that is 8 inches on one side. Now 4 times 2, and then I want to add 1 more inch. So 8 plus 1 is 9. So I need a piece of paper that is 8 by 9. And the reason why I need this twice as much is because the envelope goes all the way around your card. So you need twice the width of your card. So just take the width of your card times 2, but then you want it to overlap a little bit. So we have to add another inch. So that's where I get 9 from. So we're going to add an inch to the length and add an inch to twice the width of the card. So let's get the paper trimmer. Alright, so here's my guillotine. And now let's cut this paper. Alright, so we need to cut one side by 9, the other side by 8, and we bring in a scoreboard. Now along the side, that is 8, we are going to score at a 1/2 inch. I'm going to flip it around and go a 1/2 inch again. So now I have 7 inches in the middle here. So we're going to flip it sideways. So now we want our card to fit in here like this, but we don't want the envelope to come all the way up to the top. So I'm going to take 1 inch from the width of the card, which is 4. So I'm going to score at 3. And then I need the 4 inches. That is the width of the card. So 3 plus 4 is 7. So I'm going to score here at 7. So now, let's get these all folded. And I will need to trim a little bit of this away. All right. And we will fold this. And we'll fold this. All right, so we don't need this section here. This section here. And we don't need this section here or here. So I'm going to leave that there for a second. So we're just going to take off the 4 corners. And I am going to cut the score line away. There we go. Now this will fold up like this. This will come over here. This will come over here, and this will fold down. Now if you want, and you have a corner edge, you absolutely can round these corners. And if you don't like having this all the way up, you also can trim that down if you want. That's personal choice. So I'm just going to hold this down here. I'm going to cut to just below where that is. And trim this side off too. There we go. So now we're just going to glue. Let me give this a better crease here. I want that to lay down and this side to lay down. I want to put glue on this side and glue on this side. This will fold up. And then once this dries, I'm going to very gingerly put this in here. And now you have an envelope that fits your card. Just like that. So there you have it. A 7x4 card with a matching envelope. If you like this card, please give me a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to my channel. And until next time, stay crafty.